Yes, it is Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. I wasn't sure. I didn't want to get your hopes up. I didn't want to get my hopes up. Anyway, so this morning, I'm going to talk about trust. Trust. And I'll just start off by saying this. Don't put your trust in anybody. Just don't do it. You'll regret it. You always have. You have always regretted it. You have always regretted, that's what I meant to say. You have always regretted putting your trust in someone. Always. You trust, as a child, you trust that your parents were going to do what they say they were going to do. Did they do it? No. And what did you end up? Disappointed. You trusted that your boyfriend or girlfriend would always treat you in a manner that you desired to be treated. And what happened? They mistreated you. You were disappointed. That's it. That's the result of putting trust in a human being. However, that is not always going to be the case. At some point in each one of our progressions, we will be able to, I should say, let me rephrase that, because I should just say this. In this point in time, I do not recommend putting your trust in anybody other than the Creator. That's it. Unless you're dealing with a celestial being. Unless you're dealing with a celestial being which has zero degradation, zero darkness in their soul. That's the only time that you would want to trust or put your trust in a human being. A human being that has been transformed into a celestial being. That's the only time. Other than that, no. No. Because you will be disappointed. And here's the thing. The reason why I say this is because it's important to have trust in yourself. Trust in your ability. Trust in your knowing. Trust in your emotions. Sometimes what people do is, hold on a second. Sometimes what people do is they make friends with someone, or they have this idea or notion that you're supposed to trust your family. And so what you do is you give them this blind trust. You put trust in them. And I think I talked about this before, but I'm not sure what I titled the video. You put trust in them as a whole. And did I already make a video like this? Because it kind of seems like deja vu. Like, I thought I talked about this already. Hold on a second. Did I make a video about this? I think I did. I said trust, no. Why? I think I said why I don't trust anybody, or why I don't trust anyone anymore, or something like that. I guess I did make a video like that. But I know it's not going to be like this. It's always different. I mean, I can talk about the same subject, and generally it comes out differently than it has in the past. Ooh, that rhymed. I'm a poet, didn't even know it. So, so at some point, what happens is you need to trust yourself. That's what you need to do. You need to have trust in your ability to discern. This is so important. The ability to discern is your power. It is your power. It allows you to come out the other end unscathed. That's the power of discernment. And if you have blind trust, you do not allow yourself to discern because you're automatically just trusting something. You need to use discernment to tell you, for yourself, to tell yourself, hey, this I can trust, this I cannot trust, this I can go with, this I cannot go with, this will bring painful consequences, this will not bring painful consequences. This is the power of discernment. But in order to do that, you cannot put blind trust before that. Because blind trust prevents you from the discernment. Blind trust will only yield you pain and regret. It will only lead to hindsight. You know, hindsight is 20/20, but that's only after the fact. After you've gotten burned. After you've burned yourself. This is why I don't trust anybody. I don't put my trust in anybody. And the thing is, and let me explain that just a little bit, because sometimes when I say don't trust anyone, I'm not saying don't take anyone's word for, well, that is exactly what I'm saying, but how would I explain it? Because I need to make it very clear. Let's say someone, okay, here's the thing with trust. When you have trust, you also have an expectation attached to that trust. This is the unloving part. This is the part that gets you tripped up. The reason why you put trust in someone is because you're having an expectation that they are going to follow through with what they are promising you. Maybe they're promising to love you. Maybe they're promising to always treat you well. Maybe they're promising to always have your back. And as you put your trust in those statements that they are making, you're putting the trust in them. But if you know them, you know their energy, you know not to do that. Because like I said in the last video, people change. And people are allowed to change. It's not a bad thing that people change their minds. It's a free will gift that they have to change their mind whenever they want. It's not unloving for them to change their mind. It is loving for them to take care of themselves. So, you know, hopefully I can remember where I was. But my family, my nieces and nephews were going to come. My brother's girlfriend was going to bring them down here to Los Angeles to see me and spend the whole week of Christmas here. And my sister said she was going to bring them out here because the mom doesn't drive or anything like that, and train and plane expenses for 5 or 6 people can be very, very expensive. So she was going to drive them out here to see me, and a couple of days ago she sends me a text message saying that she may not be able to do that, and she may be able to swing a couple of days. And the thing is, she changed her mind, and she had wrote also in the text message that, you know, priorities. And so she's putting herself first. And this is important. This is very important. This is why you don't put trust. You don't put trust in people, because people are allowed to change their mind. The only person who will never, ever, 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 ever change their mind is the Creator. The Creator is not limited. We as human beings are limited. So as an example, my sister said she was going to bring them down here, stay the whole week, and then take them back. And that was a perfect situation, because I can only fit 5 people in my car, and I think one of them needs a car seat. So it would have been best if we had 2 different cars, and if we were going to go out, you know, as a family and do dinner at, like, you know, a restaurant or something, or go to a theme park, whatever it is we were going to do. It would have been very difficult if it was just me and just by myself. So where was I going with that? So, you know, she changed her mind. And I'm like, okay, fine, that's great. She changed her mind. I was looking forward to it, but I wasn't stuck on it. Like, I wasn't like, oh my gosh, this has to happen. I want this to happen so badly. Of course I want to see my nephews and nieces, but it wasn't this thing where it had to happen. I wasn't so tied to it. I didn't have this expectation that my sister was going to do this. I didn't put my trust in her to carry out what she said she was going to do. Oh, that's the point I was going to make. My sister is limited in her ability. She can't do all that she wants to do at the same time. The Creator is the only one who can do, not the only one, because as celestial beings, and I can make this a different video, but I just need to make sure that I'm speaking the truth to you guys. As a celestial being, you can be at many places at one time. You can be, depending on the level of love that you have within your soul, which determines the dimensional space that you can occupy, that will determine your ability to be at many places at once. So there are some celestial beings who can be at over 100 places at one time. That's the amount of energy that they have, the amount of love that they have within their being to do that. There are celestial beings who can manifest the physical body on earth. It takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of love to do that, and you have to have love in order to do that, but it is possible. So no, God is not the only one who can be many places at one time. However, must say this. It's the energy of God. It's God's essence. Because that's what love is. That's the essence of the Creator. It is the essence of the Creator that transforms the soul into a different creature so that it can do godly things. This is why it's so important to know the laws. This is why it's so important to know how things operate. Because when you understand these things, you really give yourself the ability and option to be so much more than you currently are. We give ourselves that opportunity to be so much more so that we can do so much more, so that we can do the godly things that Jesus was actually talking about. This is the reason why Jesus... It had to be. This is the reason why I say that is because Jesus was born like we were born. Yes, he did have a father, as a physical human being father, or I should say a biological father that helped create his physical body. Yes, he did have that. If there was no immaculate conception, and if that's what you believe, that's what you believe. I'm not saying to stop believing that. I'm just putting it out there. But Jesus was born differently. Like, he didn't have the same emotional injuries as we have. The transference of emotional injuries was blocked with him. That's the gift. So when the Bible says that he gave his son in that manner, yes, but we're all his children. We all know that. We all know that we are all God's children, just as Jesus is God's child. We all know that. We say it all the time. We don't believe it, meaning we don't understand it. We never put those things together. For some reason, people separate that. They're like, oh, that's God. Jesus is God's child. They'll say that in one statement, and in a completely different breath, completely separate, they'll say we are God's children. But they never put them together. And this is why people don't know their power, because they don't believe that they have the same ability and capacity to do that. But we do. And if you saw that as the truth, then you would be able to really harness the power that you have, because now you would know the truth and you would live from that space. Just if you can just for a moment, believe that for a moment. Make believe, imagine it just for a moment, that you were born and have the same potential as Jesus did. Meaning the potential to get to that place, and it's not dependent upon Satan or fighting Satan or any of these things, or that you're so different, or that Jesus is here to save you from all these external things. If you can remove yourself from that and actually see the truth of it, you will actually feel more grounded, more positive, more assured. You will feel different, because that's what the truth does. It makes you feel different. Therefore, you can move to a new place. The problem is people feel different momentarily, but they go back to their lack of unworthiness or lack of worth, lack of value. That's what happens. But we feel it. We feel this confidence that we can do it at various points in our lives, but we're overtaken by the emotional injuries that dwell within our soul. But anyway, Jesus did not have that, which is why he was able to progress and see things differently than we see them, because we see life through the lens of what's within our soul. And the thing is, we have a lot of degradation within our soul. Jesus was seeing life through his soul, which didn't have degradation. So when he did his free will, when he was exercising his free will choice, he really did have a blank slate. There was only 3 human beings on this planet, or that were on this planet at one point, that had that. The first one was Adam and Eve. The first ones were Adam and Eve, or Amon and Aman, if you want to know their real names. They are known. I should just say they are known as Aman and Amon in the spirit world. They're not known as Adam and Eve. That is a name that was given here on Earth to the first couple that were here on the planet. So if you want to research it, you may find more information about them if you use their names that they go by in the spirit world, Aman and Amon. So, and the reason why I say that is because the information that you will find here on Earth under Adam and Eve will most likely be man's version of the events that took place. But if you were to Google a man in Amon, you would then find stories of not stories, but events of the actual happenings when they were here on the planet. That's why I put that out there, so that, look, all the stuff I put out here is for you to, do your research on and find out for yourself. Because, like I said, you can't trust me. I'm not asking you to trust me, and I would hope that you would never put your trust in me like that. But be able to take the information that I give and find an interest in it to verify it yourself. Like, that's what I would hope you would do. Of course, that's my desire, but of course my desire has nothing to do with your desire. If it's the same, then it's the same, but if it's not, it's not, and that's okay, because you have your free will to decide what you want to do for yourself. We all do. But I just put it out there so that you have an opportunity to actually find some truth, because a lot of people only have what man has defined to be truth, not what the actual truth is. Anyway, Jesus was able to look at something and see it without having any interference from doubt, any interference from a lack of worth, a lack of value. He didn't second guess himself like we second guess ourselves. Like we may see the truth of something, but we'll doubt it. Like, you'll meet a person and you'll say something's not right with that person, but the person may say things to paint a picture of trustworthiness, and you will doubt your initial feeling that was in actuality the truth. This is how we get burned. You're like, something's not right about them, and then you get to know the person, so to speak, and you befriend them, and then at some point you're like, I knew something was up with this person, but you ignored your senses, your spidey senses. So, and that's what happens, but Jesus didn't have this, which is why he progressed. This is why he progressed at such a young age. This is why he did it, because he didn't have to deal with all the crap that we have to deal with from our emotional injuries. Look, I'm 42 years old, and I'm nowhere near where he was in his 20s and 30s. Nowhere near. He was able to reach a state of being a celestial being, meaning he reached the 8th dimension, because the 8th dimension is the dimension where you actually become a celestial being. You become one with God, and so it is almost synonymous with God in a sense. No, a celestial being in the 8th dimension is not as powerful or aware, because they can't be. Only God is all-knowing, meaning God knows what he has planned for ourselves as souls, or for his children. And even celestial beings in the 8th dimension don't know what lies in the 9th dimension, and those who are in the 9th dimension don't yet know what's in the 10th dimension. And that's what I'm saying. Like, life is a lifelong educational experience. That's what I meant to say. It's a lifelong educational experience. We're always learning, we're always exploring, and we're always discovering something that has been made. And the thing is, in love, that's when you truly create things. God makes it possible. But like here on earth, God has already put something in place. We have been given all types of elements and things to work with. We're in the beginning stages of our existence. And so this is one of the reasons. It's like, it's kind of like this. You have an architect, right? An architect can create something out of nothing. They use their imagination and they bring things together. I was just chatting with someone online, and he likes architect and drawing, and this man is phenomenal. Like, the detail in his drawings. He drew this house, and I want to put it up, but I need to ask him if I can do that. I put up a picture so you can see what I'm talking about. He can come up with these visions and out of nowhere, and just create them out of nothing. This is what he's able to do. But that's as an adult. But as a child, you have to start with something. You have to start with building blocks, Legos, Play-Doh. But something has to be given to you so that you can develop the gift, so that you can see that you have a gift. You see? You have to see that you have a gift. But you can't do that unless you have something to work with to shape. And that's what the Creator has given us. It's the trees, the dirt, the soil, the grass, all the plants and flowers, the materials that we can combine to make other things. This is what the Creator has given us, showing us that this is why we're here, to create and have an experience. To create, have an experience. Make this. Are you proud of it? Are you not proud of it? If you're not proud of it, you do it again until you do something that you are proud of. Feel the feeling of being proud. Feel the feeling of being accomplished. Feel the feeling of, that is what we are here for, to create. But how do we know that's what we're supposed to do? You see, if the Creator if you just look at the universe and from what we can see, just from what we can see, all right? Just from what we can see, because it's different in the spirit world. It's a little different. Not so much, but yes, so much. There is, this is not talking about trust. This is not talking about trust. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. Come on, Bradley. Get it together, brother. What was I saying? Oh, jeez. I was talking about creating. Oh, how can we create something? Oh, if we look at what is available to us from what we can see, if you look at space and other planets and all this and that, if you look at all these things, let's say we were put as souls and we didn't have these physical bodies and we were just released out into whatever. It's very I would think it would be very difficult to learn how to create when we don't have anything to go by, when we don't have anything presented to us that we can explore with and figure that out. Because we're figuring this out. Figuring out life as we see it. That's it. As we see it. But we ask questions, we ask the Creator, like, what am I supposed to do? People do this all the time. They ask the Creator, what am I supposed to do? And it comes to them. Someone comes to them. It may be one of my videos. Someone may have a question, like a subscriber just thanked me for the video that I did yesterday. Well, obviously they had a desire to have that question answered, and so they stumbled upon it. And they really didn't stumble upon it. It was presented to them. However it was, it came to them because that's what they were asking for. They didn't know they were asking for my video, but it's a question that they had dwelling within their soul. And it was strong enough, meaning there was an emotion attached to it, to a strong desire to have the answer to the question or to the uncertainty that they had, because that's what they weren't asking for the answer. They were asking for the uncertainty to be resolved, for the uncertainty to be certainty, to have the lack of understanding change to understanding. Because it is the foundation of understanding that allows you, the understanding and certainty that allows you to move forward in a more productive, progressive way. In a direction of love. It's cold in here. Hold on a sec. You get it? So, anyway, the reason why I went off into that tangent is because I was talking about celestial beings. There are certain celestial beings, or I should say, there are celestial beings that you can trust. And if you put your trust in a celestial being, understand that they will kind of redirect you to trust yourself, trust in your being, trust in your emotions. And that's one of the main things I feel that they would help you realize, is that you need to trust the emotions that are trust the emotions that you're feeling, because they are the perfect indicator. I mean, the perfect indicator, the perfect compass to tell you where you are and where you need to go. Emotions. Because as you experience joyful, happy emotions, you know what makes you happy, what brings you pleasure. And if you know if you're aware of the emotions that are of fear or of pain, then you know that something is in you that shouldn't be in you, that actually blocks the good feelings of joy and happiness from actually being had. Like, this is why you should trust yourself, because like I said yesterday, you're always broadcasting, and you're always broadcasting the truth of what's within your soul. Always. Are you angry? There's anger within your soul. Where does anger come from? Denied pain. It's like you get an illness where you don't feel good. You're sick, right? You're sick, you're in pain, and you're agitated and irritated, frustrated, because you can't make the pain go away. You can't make the feeling of that sickness go away. The symptoms that you're feeling from being ill are just there. And this is why people are cranky, because they cannot escape the pain. This is where anger comes from. This is where frustration comes from. This is where irritability comes from. Because there's pain within you. Now, it's easy to see it with sickness. It's so easy to see it with sickness. But it's much more difficult to see it when you don't have a cold, when you don't have the flu, or when you don't have any physical illness. When there aren't any physical ailments, it's very difficult to put this together. But it's the truth. If you're irritated, frustrated, annoyed with someone, it's because there's something within you. There's pain within you, not something. There's pain within you that you are denying, meaning you're not willing to see, and you can't shake it. You cannot shake it. Like, let's say you're at work. You don't want to be there. You feel pressured because you have a lot of things on your mind, or you're doing something that you really hate. You really don't like the job that you're in, but you're doing it because you feel forced to, because you have to eat and pay bills and do all these other things. And so you're just in a bad mood. People come into the office with a bad mood. There's many ladies in the office who are just miserable, angry people. Just miserable, angry people. And I was just thinking about it this morning, because we had a shift in management, and so we have a different director. And so these people were annoyed and frustrated, and always saying how they weren't supported by the previous director, and that's why they were angry. But then they have a new director who supports them in every way, shape, and form, and they're still angry. And so this is what I'm saying. They'll try to blame it on something or pick a reason to express their anger and say it's the other person, because they're in denial of what they're really frustrated and angry about, meaning the pain that they're experiencing. The frustration that they're experiencing is from their own choices. If you're miserable about where you work, why are you still working there? Because they feel pressured, like they have to stay there. They feel they can't get out of this state of how should I say? It's just a state of pain. Anytime we are doing something or feel forced to do something and we don't want to do, we're not expressing our free will. Well, we're expressing our free will because we're choosing to stay there, but we're not looking at what we would rather do and go for that. That's the thing, is we're ignoring our free will. We're ignoring we're denying our free will. We're denying our gift. We're denying our free choice. We're exercising it, but at the same time, we're denying the fact that we have a choice, and we feel as if we don't have a choice and we stay where we are, and that's the feeling of stagnation. And that's painful. That's painful to want to do something and not be able to do it. Just like a little boy or a little girl, they want to go to the Disneyland park, or they want to go to the park, or go to the ice skating rink, or whatever it is that they want to do. But their parents say, hey, we can't do that right now. And so they feel this pain of stagnation, like they want to do it, but they can't do it. Even if something as small as going outside. Mom, I want to go outside and play in the snow. No, you can't go outside and play in the snow. You'll get sick. But you want to, and so you get sad, and that's the pain that you feel. You want to do something, but you're forced to do something else. Someone else has taken away your free choice to do something else. And as a child, we're prevented from doing the things that we want to do. As adults, we prevent ourselves from doing the things we truly want to do. We are our own pain creator. Nobody else is our pain creator. We are our pain creator. As a child, we don't have a choice because we're governed by our parents. But as an adult, we are not. We are governed by ourselves. We decide whether we grant us the option and opportunity to do something that we want to do. If you want to do something, then do it. If you feel like you can't, you're preventing yourself. Nobody else is. If you want to be a doctor, then you have to take the steps in order to be a doctor. If you're always telling yourself that you're not smart enough, then you are telling yourself you're not smart enough. And I kind of talked about how that even comes into play, because why does this thing keep doing that? It looks like it stops recording. Oh, something's going on with the multi-window thing. I maybe have to do a hard reset on my phone. I don't know. We are doing that to ourselves, and I talked about how that comes about, because how we accept the incoming thought, and sometimes it's not about us. Sometimes it's about other people. And when you put your trust in other people, you accept the thoughts and feelings that they have. So for instance, someone can say, oh my gosh, school is so hard. This school, going to medical school, is so hard. Being an engineer is so hard. Oh my gosh, calculus is so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard. And you hear this. You have an incoming thought, and we don't like anything that's hard, people. We don't like anything that's hard. So what we do is we're like, we have the feeling of fear attached to that. We're like, oh my God, I don't want to do that because I don't like anything that's hard, because anything that's hard means that I may fail at it. And I don't want to fail because I have a feeling of failure, a fear of failure, And so as people speak and they express themselves in their experiences, we have that thought that is coming out of them, comes into us. We have emotional response. We have an outgoing thought, which matches that incoming thought. So yes, we're like, oh, that's hard. I don't want to do it. They say it's hard. I don't want to do it. 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 And therefore, you prevent yourself from doing something that you really want in the long run. Like at the end, what you're truly looking for is to become a doctor or an engineer. That's something you would really love to do. But you have these fears of whether it's English or math. I have a fear of math. It's starting to go away, which is really interesting because I've always had a fear of math. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't go and pursue my PhD in psychology. I was like, oh, I got to take all this hard math. I don't want to do math. It was the fear of doing it. But as I have progressed in my own soul condition, those fears are going away. Like I don't have that feeling of fear when I think about math. When I think about it, it's like, okay, it's a logical thing. Math is logical. I just have to figure out the logic that's being used in order to get the calculation. That's it. I'm a very logical person, so this shit should be easy for me. It's like I can put things together. I can make sense of things very easily. So it's not an issue, but I made it an issue when it was never an issue. I've always been a logical person, so I shouldn't have had any fear. But the thing is, it's somewhere it came about. I had a fear of math, and now I don't feel I have that fear anymore. Someone can say, hey, we got to take this class, and I would be there willing to learn how to solve the problems. What do I do? What is the formula used? Just give me the formula. And the thing is, when you're learning math, they're giving you the formula. You just have to know which formula to apply, depending on what you're trying to achieve. They're like, okay, do I apply addition, subtraction, multiplication? Do I do division? Do I use fractions? Do I use, algebra? Do I need to use a calculus formula? What algorithm is needed in order to produce the result? That's it. It's no different than life, and that's what I realize is that all this logical stuff that I talk about in terms of the universe. It's like, okay, when does this law apply? When does this law apply? Like when you look at something like love, okay, well, let's see what love is. Well, love is actually, yes, love can be doing something for others. So yes, if someone is struggling, you can help someone. However, there are only certain times when you apply that. You don't apply it when someone is not willing to help themselves, because all you do is sustain that level of degradation, meaning you sustain that level of lack of self-love. Anytime you help someone who's not willing to help themselves, as soon as you walk away, they're still in the state of not being able to help themselves. So no, you wouldn't apply this law of kindness, or this law of giving someone something, or this law of housing someone. You know, the Creator does not provide a house for someone in the hells when they're not desiring or have that within them that calls for that. The Creator doesn't say, oh, that child of mine is suffering in the hells, let me give them a house. They're cold, their body is degraded, let me give them full healing. The Creator does not do that, because the Creator does not take away your free will, nor does the Creator take away, or I should go against, what dwells within your soul. If you have chosen to do unloving things, you have chosen to allow unloving things within your soul in order for you to do that. That is a choice that soul has made, or that you have made. So God is not going to come and take it away when you've chosen to put it there. So this is what I'm saying. There are times when love, what we think is love, or not what we think, but love is this thing. This is so complicated to put into words. Love looks differently depending what the situation is. Is it loving to let someone suffer? Yes. It's loving to let someone suffer. And someone will say, why would you even say that? Why would you say it's loving to let someone suffer? We learn by our own suffering. Understand this. If you're suffering, and that is a lesson for you to show you that you're doing something wrong, meaning you're doing something unloving that's causing your suffering, that's the same message that the other person needs for their recovery, for their healing. So it doesn't make any sense for you to take away their lesson that would empower them to see that they're doing something unloving. You see? See, we see things as loving, but they're not when it comes to other people. We may see it for ourselves and say, hey, you know what, my karma is, a lesson for me to improve myself. This is why I'm experiencing this, because I have a lot of degradation within my soul. But yet you want to turn around and try to help someone else who's feeling, who's experiencing suffering. And this is your fear. This is not you being loving. This is your fear. This is why I say the law of love is always applied, but it looks differently depending on what the situation is. Sometimes it is loving to help someone because it's within their soul. They're asking for a change in their life. They're saying, hey, hey, God, please, I'm in this place. I'm in this dark place. I need help. I don't know what to do. I need help. And then someone comes along and helps them because they were asking for it. And they're like, well, how do you know if they're asking? How do you know if they're asking for and these are things that, over a course of time, when you learn how to read the soul and read where they are, you learn of the intention, you learn of the intent of the person who is struggling. You can see when someone is struggling. Well, it's very, like I said, it's difficult because you have to have the awareness in order to see that. It's not this thing where, oh, someone's on the street, you help them. There's some people who are on the street who need to be on the street before they can realize that they need to ask for help. And there are people on the street who are ready to ask for help, and they ask for help, and you help them. And it's not something that you physically see with your eyes. You can't just see it with your eyes. You really have to be connected to your soul. You have to be able to feel when someone is crying out for help. And you have to be able to feel when someone is not crying out for help and they're absolutely okay with being on the street. You can sense it. You can't just see it with your eyes, because you can look at a whole row of homeless people. They can be lined up in a row. And you will be able, well, if you just look at them with your eyes, they're all homeless. They're all looking disheveled. But if you're connected with your soul, you can identify out of the entire row who are the ones who are begging, screaming, crying for help. You can tell. And that's what I mean. But you have to be connected to your being in order to do that. But anyway, I so got off of trust. But I think you should be able to understand that you don't put trust in anybody on this planet at this time. The only one you put trust in is the Creator, and your guides and guardians who are with you all the time. Sometimes this is how you get your answers, because they share the answers with you. They know the intent that you have with not all guides are celestial beings. Some guides are fourth dimensional beings. Some guides are sixth dimensional beings. Some guides are celestial beings, meaning eighth dimension and above. It just depends on where you are. Yikes. It just depends on where you are. That will determine the type of being that is assigned to help you, because they do change over time. Your guardian tends to stay the same, but your guides, they change depending on your progression. The soul condition, as it improves and it requires a guidance that is greater than the one that you have now, the ability that your guide has in the moment. So sometimes we outgrow our guides and we get a new guide. But my point is, what we do is, all right, let me stop my car. What we do is progress and change and evolve. And as that happens, we get, like I said, we get our a new guide. And we can trust that. We can trust the feelings, and you'll in the beginning you may not know. Some people are very connected and they don't know how they're connected, meaning they'll say, like, they'll have these feelings and they're like, well, I don't know where these feelings of guidance comes from, but it always comes from. Sometimes they feel it's God, it's coming from God, and in a way it is coming from God, because it's coming from the assignment from the Creator. Like, everything's coming from the Creator, and so the answers, this is why it's so important to know how this stuff is. Like, God is everywhere. God is everywhere. And God, I wanted to make a different video about this, but there's this saying that, we do God's work. Well, what that really means is, when we are in alignment with truth and love, we are in alignment with the Creator. And if we are in alignment with the Creator, then that which we express in truth and in love is of the energy of the Creator. So yes, we do God's work or God's will, but only when we are living in truth and living in love. When we are not living in truth and not living in love, then we're not doing God's will. So so someone can come to you with that which you desire to help you progress. That is God's will. When someone comes to you with help, with assistance, we are doing God's will in that moment. That's when we're expressing love, when we're expressing truth, when we're sharing love and we're sharing truth. That is God's will. And so as we move in that direction of God's energy, we are being the expression of the Creator, expression of the Most High. It is only when we are not doing those things that we are not in alignment with that energy. Therefore, we are not doing God's will, if that makes any sense. But anyway, I don't know what I'll tell this video, because I was all over the place. But anyway, I'll just leave it there. I hope you guys have a wonderful Friday, a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you guys later. All right, bye now.